Hello and welcome back to another video. Today here again on Gran Turismo to take a look at the third of the new cars added as part of update 1.29, which is this 1965 Honda RA272 Grand Prix car. It's available in the Legendary Cars dealership for 2.5 million credits, making it by quite a long way the most expensive car in this update, costing more than, well, the two Vision cars combined, essentially. So, 1964 was actually the first year that Honda entered Formula 1 with limited success, this car being the improved 1965 model, which throughout the season saw upgrades until they eventually culminated in Honda's first ever Grand Prix victory in Mexico that year. The car is powered by a 1.5-litre V12, producing 228 horsepower, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it is essentially a bathtub with an engine in it, so it weighs just 498 kilos, meaning it is pretty swift and pretty twitchy. Other streaming services are available, as I found out driving it around Suzuka here. Actually took me a few laps to get one without spinning into some gravel or having a big accident. It was particularly loose under brakes, but yeah, these era of Formula 1 cars are pre-aero basically, so they do slide quite a lot. Overall in Gran Turismo then, with that power and weight combination, it's rated at 628.27 performance points. Being a racing car, there's obviously not a lot we can do with this. There's no wide body, there's no custom parts, no racing items. I think we'll be able to repaint it, although I'm not sure I will, and there are other options. Which is front grille, so you can put a Honda badge on it, basically. I mean, do we want to spend £5,000 on a Honda badge? Sure, as it's the only upgrade option available. Customization visual part option available. Which then means when you go into livery editor, there's actually something still there. That badge. But anyway, let's see quickly. Carbon fibre. Okay, interesting. I'm probably not gonna... Oh wow, it literally paints the exhausts as well. That is actually incredibly cool. But I'm not gonna ruin it. It's a classic racing car. It should really keep its standard livery. Although I suppose you could do something like that and pretend it's a classic McLaren Grand Prix car. I'm sure there's going to be liveries for lots of F1 cars of this era put on this to try and make it look like some of the others. But yeah, we're not actually, it's probably historic orange, not McLaren orange. Anyway, and this is the only Honda colour I currently have. So yeah, I'm gonna back out of here and not put a livery on it. So again, as you might expect, there's really not a lot you can do with this in the upgrade shop. I have put it on racing soft tyres where it started on racing hards, and put in the fully customizable racing transmission, because that seemed to improve things slightly. Apart from that, there's not really any upgrades you can do. There is one power upgrade, well, two, basically. You can put in a bigger turbo if you want to, but I think 420 horsepower in this car is, well, quite terrifying, so I'm not going to do that. But yeah, I've put in the gearbox and put on some softer tyres, which has put it up to 652.71 performance points. So it turns out it's now close to the performance points needed for the World Touring Car event, which apparently it's eligible for despite being a Grand Prix car. What can possibly go wrong with this? So here we go then, 10 laps. What can possibly go wrong? Have I overtaken something? Round the outside of the Corvette. But yeah, it's not exactly fast progress through the pack at the end of lap 1. Goodbye, Ferrari. So after 3 laps of not really getting anywhere, I think it's time to abandon the idea of using this for this. But instead what I've decided to do is to do a quick arcade race around the new track that was added as part of this update instead, to see if that's any more successful. And it's only 3 laps, so it doesn't really matter so much if I'm losing. Although, going by the cars here, I think I've just discovered this car is in Group X, because we've got all the weird things. What the... Is everyone braking? Oh, we finally got beyond the infinity. It's definitely Group X, that's a drift car. It's essentially where all the unwanted cars end up, because they're not really useful to actually use for anything. Well, at least this time we're leading the race at the end of the 2nd lap. Oh, never mind, I take that back. Why is this a good race with an AI? No, it's not the new intelligent Gran Turismo AI system. And just like that, we've won. Which is just as well, as it didn't win the proper event, but yeah, that kind of feels like I cheated that a little bit, but maybe we should use these arcade races. They're kind of more fun and less campaignish. And on that note, I am going to leave it there for a very first look at the Honda RA272 here on Gran Turismo 7. Yes, I did remember the name correctly somehow. This 1965 vintage Grand Prix car, which is a cool addition, but it's very expensive, not all that great, if I'm being honest. It's cool that it's here, and I'm sure people will make many vintage Formula 1 liveries for it, so that'll be great to see. Stock, it was really fun to drive, actually. Quite low power, but very light. Although quite twitchy and difficult to drive, but yeah, a lot of fun stock. In terms of upgrades, there really isn't much you can do. There's no visual options either, really, apart from repainting it, like I say, so it'll be good to see liveries that people have made down the line. But yeah, in terms of visual upgrades, you can only apply a badge. Upgrades, you can only put a turbocharger in, which is quite terrifying. Change the tyres and gearbox and things like that. So with upgraded tyres and gearbox, it is slightly better, but I don't think it's not a particularly useful number, and I don't think it would be competitive even if it was, certainly not with me driving, because it slides about so much. Which makes sense, it's a 1960s Grand Prix car with no aero. But anyway, yeah, it's a fun thing to have, so if you have a spare 2.5 million, I guess buy it, but I don't think it's really worth that amount, particularly as money's not that easy to come by in Gran Turismo compared to other games, Forza. So yeah, I would basically say don't bother getting it, which is what I thought going into this, really. So that's kind of just confirmed that. So yeah, I still prefer the Porsche and the Citroen that I previously looked at. Videos on those already on the channel if you want to take a look. But for now, for a very first look at the Honda Grand Prix car, that is going to be all. I'll be back very soon to take a look at the 2 new Vision Gran Turismo cars that were added to the final 2 cars in this update. But for today's video, that is going to be all, so thank you very much for watching. I know it's slightly shorter than the previous car review ones, because there's not a lot we could do with this, and I'll be back with the next video very soon.